Oh, here's the game. Here, let's try knight f3 again. Last time we didn't get a Reti setup. We ended up in a queen's gambit. I guess that happens quite a lot. Now, this might transpose into some kind of English when he plays with c5. So I'll go with a kind of a reverse Sicilian setup. Well, actually, it's not going to be a reverse Sicilian because he's not playing with e4. But I mean, what I mean is I'm going to go with something that looks like the dragon variation of the Sicilian, and just castle. So pretty normal looking setup. You can play g6 here and go with the ultra symmetric kind of setup here. Or you can go with e6, yeah, have a little variation there. So I think this is all headed towards a queenside expansion. So I'm going to start with a3 and play with b4 if he lets me. Guess I have to play rook b1 first to set that up. I'm not moving this dark squared bishop because I'm not quite sure where the best place for it is. And maybe pinning the knight is a good idea. Just preparing to trade that off. But I already have decent control over the light squares here, so it doesn't seem like I need to trade that. Is that true? Actually, since he played e6, he could play d5 at any time. And so bishop to g5 would help keep control over that square. But let's just go with this part of the plan, just expanding on the queen side. Okay, so he moved his knight. If I kick it, he's going to come into e5. I guess that's the plan. Then if I trade it off, you can take back with the knight. But what if I kick this knight first? It's a little bit peculiar. I was planning to take back with the pawn, so the knight had to move. I was just wondering if I really am safe playing this way. This pawn is weak, and this pawn might be weak too. Okay, so he went that way. So now I was going to kick this knight. And he just goes back. So bishop to f4, looking at this pawn here. Leaves this pawn unprotected for the moment. How about if I first secure these two pawns over here? So the knight is defending a4. And it's true. Once again, I neglected to consider my options along the long diagonal. When did that open up? Right here. Yeah, that was the other point of taking there. Is that so from here to that point when he moved the rook, I had all these discoveries with my knight. I don't know if they amount to a whole lot, but it's an example of, okay, so just a couple of moves there. Yeah, so I guess I didn't miss anything. An example of how I should think a little more when I'm playing. Let's see, so this bishop. Yeah, let's bring it up. Okay, so he's maneuvering this knight around. He still has neglected the castle. Can I bring my queen over to the king side here and maybe put some pressure on this pawn? You know, there is a route to the king side like this. Queen to queen to b3 to c4 and then over to h4. Kind of a funny maneuver. So he kicks. And when I take, and he takes back with the bishop, he's looking at this knight. So let's drop back here and defend the knight. And then bring my queen up to c4 here. Actually, this is not looking so great, is it? Knight to c4. He can kick the queen with the pawn. If I run over here, I'm running into his bishop. And where else could I go? I could go to f4. Let's soften up the king side a little bit here. So I want to play g5 here. With the idea that if he takes it, I'll take back with the bishop and I'll reestablish that pin. And then I will try this queen c4 to h4 maneuver. I think he probably should take. He didn't. So he's giving up a pawn here. I see, that's his idea. So let's bring the bishop out now. Ah, he just pushed with the pawn. I wonder if there's something wrong with this. Looks a little bit suspicious, all those pawns on the third rank there. The sixth row, I guess, from my point of view. But this is pinned. I don't see any way to exploit this. I have to drop, at least not immediately. I have to drop my bishop back. I guess what I should do is bring my king over here and put a rook on the g file. Okay, so he finally did push on with d5. That's a move that's probably been wanting to be played for a while, and it takes away one of my queen maneuvers. Okay, but let's see. I could put the knight here right away. See what he wants to do about that pawn. Yeah, he can bring his king forward to defend it. So how about this move? If he takes, take back with the bishop and try and get pressure on this guy. He can push the f-pawn forward. I don't know. At some point, I think his structure is going to be falling apart here. I'm also threatening to take here and just win a pawn. Let's see, taking back with the knight, maybe? Is that an idea? He can move the f-pawn with a tempo on this knight. It has to go back to f3. Okay, yeah, complicated game here. So yeah, so he pushed forward. So I'm just wondering, yeah, maybe just bringing the knight around here is the right thing to do. Guards these squares where his knight might pop into. My king can't go to h2. His queen's diagonal is opened up all the way to h2 here. I have to be a little bit careful. I can play f4 to block that diagonal because I've got a bishop and a knight on it. My queen is getting in danger of being out of play too. Yeah, so that stops me from playing f4, doesn't it? I go here, he takes, I take, he takes, I take. He ends up with the queen there. Oh, no, I have the rook on it. Let's go ahead and play f4 then, shut down that battery. Rook, knight, and bishop, and he has queen, bishop, and knight. He can take the h-pawn, but I guess it was part of his calculation that he could round up that pawn at any time. Let's see. What happens if I push on to f5? He takes, I take, takes. I don't have a knight on that square. Knight, bishop takes, rook takes. That might open things up in a nice way. But, maybe I need to worry about getting my queen into the game. Okay, so he's bringing his knight around. Quickest way to get the queen in the game is maybe here. I'm not sure. Let's see. If I went to e1 with the queen, I could play knight g3. But then he could take here. Knight takes, bishop takes, bishop takes. Ah, my knight is here. So knight takes, bishop takes, and he's supported by the queen and attacked by the rook. Okay, he's released some pressure there. So he's gone back to this idea maybe of pushing the f-pawn forward with the tempo on my knight. When he pushes the f-pawn forward, I really want to play the e-pawn forward to shut down this diagonal. And but I can't do that if my knight is hanging. So let's move the knight back. Still queen e1 and knight g3 is something I'm thinking about. Ah, he rounded up the pawn with the knight. Okay, so if I go knight g3 now, this pawn is hanging once again. So let's start with this move. So, he's got 2 knights on that square now. Okay, knight here, then, I guess, to trade that guy off. And at the moment, this hangs the bishop. I hope he didn't. I hope he didn't plan this as some terrible plot. Well, I think this game just kind of overloaded us here. So let's drop back here. And then take. So that should be it. Well, that was a very tense game. But he seems to be pretty well shut out. He can take this pawn, I guess, with the queen. But let's see. Well, I'm going to threaten. I'm going to threaten the g6 pawn here. He has to defend with the bishop, and I can take here, and that will be a massive fork. Oh, he can defend with the knight. So I can take here with check. I can bring the bishop in. A really tense game. And probably a lot of mistakes, because it's one of those positions very hard to play. Yeah, so this gives up that monster fork there. So, but his position was really indefensible after he opened up that pawn at the wrong time. Opened up a line to his bishop, which was undefended on the back rank. Okay, let's just keep taking stuff. Oh, he resigned. Okay, well, that's good. So anyway, interesting game, and see you later. Bye.